Cybersecurity stocks rocket. 10 shocks and surges shaping tech's new frontier. Disclaimer: this report is for news and informational purposes only. Nothing herein constitutes legal, financial, or medical advice, and the following anecdotal stories should not be treated as professional guidance. 1. Federal Reserve hack claim rattles financial world. In one of today's most brazen cyber incidents, the notorious Lockbit ransomware group claimed to have breached the U.S. Federal Reserve and stolen a staggering 33 terabytes of sensitive data. The bold proclamation sent shockwaves through Wall Street and Washington alike, as officials and financial firms scrambled to assess the potential fallout. If true, such a breach would strike at the heart of the global banking system, raising fears about the exposure of confidential economic data and the integrity of monetary operations. However, early speculation in cybersecurity circles suggested that Lockbit's claims might be exaggerated or even outright bogus. Even so, the audacity of targeting the Federal Reserve underscores how today's rapidly escalating cyber threats spare no target, from multinational corporations to critical government institutions. ZH. Law enforcement and intelligence agencies have launched urgent investigations to verify Lockbit's boast and hunt down those responsible. Initial analysis has revealed no immediate evidence of a large-scale compromise of central bank systems, but experts remain vigilant as they sift through network logs for any sign of infiltration. Meanwhile, word of the purported hack spread rapidly across news outlets and social media, briefly stoking anxiety among investors and the public. Financial markets even saw a flicker of uncertainty as rumors swirled, reflecting the potential impact a confirmed central bank breach could have on global confidence. By midday, however, calm largely returned as more voices in the cybersecurity community cast doubt on Lockbit's assertions, reminding everyone that criminals often bluff and that unverified claims should be treated cautiously. ZH. Whether or not Lockbit's boast proves credible, the episode serves as a wake-up call. Cyber criminals are clearly willing to target even the world's most crucial financial infrastructure. The mere specter of a central bank hack, once almost unthinkable, now must be considered in risk assessments. This reality is prompting urgent reviews of security protocols across the financial sector and within government networks, a collective drill to ensure defenses are robust and resilience plans are in place. With so much at stake, officials are urging caution and transparency, emphasizing that any attacker's claims must be thoroughly investigated before conclusions are drawn. There is a consensus among security leaders that the steady drumbeat of these threats, though alarming, can be met with disciplined, proactive responses, helping to maintain trust in the system while the truth is determined through careful forensic analysis. Subtopic: widespread Chinese espionage via firewalls uncovered. In a related revelation, a Western intelligence agency disclosed in mid-2024 that state-sponsored Chinese hackers quietly exploited a critical Fortinet firewall vulnerability to gain persistent access to 20,000 government and enterprise networks worldwide. These intruders reportedly installed custom, coat-hanger malware on tens of thousands of FortiGate systems across at least 17 countries since 2022, infiltrating vital agencies and defense organizations. This covert espionage campaign went unnoticed for months, systematically exploiting a single flaw to gather strategic intelligence by remotely controlling the compromised firewalls. The incident underscores how a weakness in widely deployed network appliances, even those intended to provide security, can become the opening for a massive breach. In response, Western security vendors and agencies have scrambled to help affected organizations patch the exploited vulnerability and bolster their defenses against such stealthy APT tactics. 2. BlackBerry's remarkable stock resurgence. Cybersecurity stocks are in overdrive, with some of the year's most dramatic gains coming from companies transforming themselves to meet surging demand. One striking example is BlackBerry's remarkable comeback. The former smartphone pioneer stock has soared over 100% year-to-date, making it one of the best-performing tech shares on the market. For the first time in years, Wall Street is buzzing about BlackBerry's new life as a cybersecurity and IoT powerhouse. The Canadian firm has reinvented itself as a software provider and cyber defense innovator, shedding its image as a faded phone maker. Today, BlackBerry's QNX operating system, quietly embedded in over 275 million vehicles, is fueling growth in automotive security and digital systems. Analysts say BlackBerry's transformation is no mere fluke. It's the product of a well-executed pivot that could position the company as a long-term leader in emerging tech sectors. Traphis. BlackBerry's financials are now catching up with the hype. In its latest quarterly results, the company recorded roughly 10% revenue growth and a shift back to profitability after years of losses. Gross margins climbed above 78%, and BlackBerry, now solidly cash flow positive, posted $53 million in net income for the year, leading CEO John Giamatteo to declare that the turnaround is complete. The firm's backlog of contracted future revenue has also nearly doubled since 2022, swelling to about $950 million, clear evidence that customers are committed to its software and services for the long term. These healthy fundamentals have reinforced investors' belief that BlackBerry's resurgence is built on solid ground, not a temporary market quirk. Traphis. High-profile partnerships and strategic wins across industries have further catalyzed BlackBerry's momentum. In April, the company unveiled an expanded collaboration with NVIDIA, integrating its QNX platform with the chipmaker's cutting-edge AI processors for robotics. A move that sent BlackBerry's stock up 15% on excitement over its role in industrial AI. Around the same time, BlackBerry's secure communications platform, used by 80% of U.S. federal agencies, achieved FedRAMP high security certification renewal, news that propelled shares nearly 19% in a single day. These milestones showed that BlackBerry's technology is in high demand across sectors ranging from self-driving cars to government infrastructure. With a strong product portfolio and credibility restored, the company's nearly 134% rally is increasingly seen not as a fleeting meme stock phenomenon, but as part of a broader technological renaissance in which innovation and investor confidence go hand in hand. Traphis. Subtopic: Cybersecurity sector winners beyond BlackBerry. BlackBerry's revival is part of a broader bullish trend across the cybersecurity sector. Many peers have delivered equally striking gains amid surging demand for digital protection. For instance, Akamai Technologies, traditionally known for content delivery, has nearly doubled its stock price as it pivots further into cloud security. While networking giant Cisco has seen shares jump about 90% this year after major security acquisitions. Chipmaker Broadcom, which owns Symantec's enterprise security business, is also up roughly 87% year-to-date. Even smaller players like A10 Networks, a DDoS defense specialist, and NetScout Systems, network monitoring, have watched their stocks climb 70% or more in 2023, while pure-play leader CrowdStrike regained roughly a 60% upswing amidst robust growth. These outsized returns show that cybersecurity is increasingly viewed as a high-growth, high-priority industry, with investors betting big on companies that safeguard the critical networks, data, and infrastructure underpinning our digital world. 3. Cybersecurity industry sees big M&A shakeups. Meanwhile, a consolidation wave is reshaping the cyber landscape as major technology players snap up specialist providers to build broad, integrated security platforms. The trend gained momentum with Cisco's massive $28 billion acquisition of Splunk in late 2023, the networking giant's largest deal ever, aimed at unifying security monitoring and data analytics under one roof. Completed in March 2024, the Splunk deal signaled Cisco's determination to transform itself into a software and security powerhouse. The combination promises to revolutionize how organizations leverage data to connect and protect every facet of their operations, offering enhanced security, observability, and automation capabilities on a single platform. If all goes as planned, such integration will help businesses preempt threats and automate defense responses at scale, delivering a more resilient digital infrastructure for the AI era. Cybersecurity news. Cybersecurity news. +1. In early 2026, next-generation security provider Palo Alto Networks executed its own blockbuster deal, finalizing a $25 billion acquisition of identity management specialist CyberArk to expand its platform approach with strong privileged access capabilities. The company also snapped up a cloud monitoring startup in a $3.35 billion move to help detect threats across enterprise infrastructure. These mega deals by Cisco and Palo Alto reflect a shared conviction that integrated suite spanning network, cloud, and identity security will deliver stronger protection and enormous competitive advantages as clients seek unified solutions. Touchy. For customers, this rush toward consolidation offers the enticing prospect of streamlined, all-in-one security services, but also raises concerns about reduced competition and single points of failure. Some industry voices worry that having just a handful of giant security providers could stifle innovation and concentrate risk if one vendor's software is compromised. Even regulators are closely monitoring the trend to ensure these mega mergers don't inadvertently create new vulnerabilities or limit customer choice. Overall, however, market optimism remains high as integrated security firms promise improved defenses at scale, a welcome development in the fight against increasingly complex threats. Subtopic: Buyout buzz fuels market speculation. In fact, anticipation of further consolidation has itself affected markets. In mid-2025, speculation swirled that Palo Alto Networks was in talks to acquire a smaller rival, SentinelOne, in a multi-billion-dollar deal, causing the target stock to soar nearly 20% in a single day. Palo Alto immediately denied the reports, but the frenzied reaction reflected investors' appetite for more mergers in cybersecurity and the expectation that smaller, niche players could be scooped up at any time. Analysts note that even the mere talk of buyouts is enough to send shares of security firms sharply higher, broad evidence that markets believe consolidation will continue. In such a fast-evolving industry, agile partnerships and well-timed acquisitions have become an essential strategy for survival and progress. It's clear that enterprise decision-makers are betting on bigger, more comprehensive platforms and have driven valuations through the roof in hopes of capturing those synergies. Fool. +1. 4. Big tech recalibrates around security. In a notable change of course, Microsoft, which spent much of 2025 touting new AI innovations, has publicly reasserted cybersecurity as a top priority after facing some high-profile vulnerabilities. CEO Satya Nadella personally acknowledged the company's need to strengthen its defenses and vowed to instill a security-first mindset across its products and services. This shift comes on the heels of incidents like the widely publicized Hafnium hack of Microsoft's Exchange servers in 2021, which compromised thousands of systems, fueling criticisms that perhaps the company's rapid expansion in AI had outpaced its focus on safety. Microsoft is now redirecting major investments into fortifying its platforms, from the Azure cloud to Windows, with advanced threat detection, zero-trust architectures, and stronger encryption. The company has also expanded its bug bounty programs and rolled out stricter default security settings, signaling a renewed commitment to user safety over speed. BSCSG. Justice. These developments highlight a broader trend. AI innovation must be matched by robust security to maintain public trust. Leading tech companies are building dedicated safety teams, regularly publishing updates on risk mitigation, and even welcoming regulatory clarity, recognizing that a people-centric approach is the only way society can fully benefit from AI's potential. Many observers see the Florida lawsuit, detailed below, not as an attempt to stifle progress, but as a sign that governments want AI to advance responsibly, and credible oversight could ultimately increase adoption by addressing legitimate fears. Balancing innovation with safety is emerging as the key challenge of the new AI frontier, and getting it right is crucial to ensure technology continues to serve humanity's best interests. Subtopic: Guidance and global collaboration on AI safety. In tandem with these corporate shifts, policymakers are stepping forward to provide guardrails. Late in 2024, the European Union adopted its sweeping AI Act, the world's first comprehensive framework for regulating artificial intelligence across the EU. The EU's new AI Act is being phased in through 2026, with requirements for robust testing, transparency, and human oversight on high-risk AI applications. It also imposes steep penalties for noncompliance, up to €35 million or 7% of worldwide revenue, underscoring that companies must take AI safety seriously or face serious consequences. Many expect the EU's proactive approach to influence AI governance globally, as regulators strive to guide innovation responsibly without sacrificing public trust and human dignity. White Case 5. Ransomware crisis in healthcare sparks urgent action. A devastating cyber attack on Britain's healthcare system has underscored the life-and-death stakes of cybersecurity. A Russian ransomware group launched a brutal assault on a key London medical lab network, Synoviz, this year, crippling systems at King's College Hospital, one of the UK's busiest hospitals, and forcing the cancellation of thousands of patient appointments and surgeries. Incredibly, the disruption was so severe that the hospital reportedly asked staff for blood donations to keep services running while its systems were down. The attackers, tied to a notorious Russian cybercrime gang, have demanded a $50 million ransom for stolen patient data, dramatically illustrating how unscrupulous criminals are willing to jeopardize lives for financial gain. Zage. For the healthcare industry, this attack is part of a larger wave of ransomware incidents preying on hospitals and medical networks globally. Cybersecurity analysts have reported that ransomware groups are increasingly targeting healthcare institutions because of their critical, life-or-death role and higher willingness to pay ransoms quickly. Earlier this year in the United States, a Black Hat ALPHV ransomware attack on health IT provider Change Healthcare disrupted hospitals nationwide and exposed up to 100 million patient records, reportedly leading the company to pay a $22 million ransom to restore vital services. These incidents highlight how vulnerable healthcare organizations have become and how urgent it is to strengthen their digital defenses to protect patients. Cybersecurity news. In the UK, the Synoviz attack revived memories of the 2017 WannaCry outbreak that crippled dozens of hospitals, prompting immediate calls to modernize health sector cybersecurity and build redundant systems for continuity. Healthcare providers and governments are now racing to bolster their defenses, investing in more rigorous staff training, segmenting networks, and ensuring robust backups so that patient care can continue even if digital tools fail. With lives on the line, the stakes for protecting the healthcare sector have never been higher. However, the rapid response and cooperation among authorities offers some hope. International law enforcement and cyber agencies are working together to track the perpetrators and share threat intelligence, a collaborative approach that aims to neutralize their operations and prevent further harm. There is cautious optimism that with better defenses and stronger partnerships, the industry can turn this crisis into a catalyst for sweeping improvements in protecting public health. Subtopic: FBI seizes ransomware decryption keys, helps victims recover. In a promising counteroffensive against ransomware, law enforcement agencies are increasingly helping victims recover without paying criminals. In mid-2024, the U.S. FBI revealed it had obtained decryption keys for over 7,000 victims of the Lockbit ransomware gang, stolen keys that allow the unlocking of computers encrypted by the hackers. Those keys were distributed to affected companies and organizations, enabling them to restore their data at no cost. By depriving the extortionists of ransom payments and undermining their business model, actions like this aim to deter future digital extortion attempts. Emboldened by such successes, authorities worldwide are partnering more closely with cybersecurity firms to identify and disrupt ransomware infrastructure. This swift, coordinated response shows that with public-private collaboration, defenders can defeat ransomware operators, providing a lifeline to vital sectors like hospitals and utilities, and proving we are not helpless in the face of digital blackmail. 6. Supply chain breach exposes cloud weak links. In another major breach, A widespread cloud supply chain attack this year compromised customer data across multiple big businesses that rely on Snowflake's popular data storage platform. The incident stemmed from inadequate account security, notably the absence of multi-factor authentication, MFA, on many Snowflake user accounts. High-profile victims included AT&T, roughly 70 million customer records, Ticketmaster, some 560 million ticketing records, and Santander Bank, among others. The attackers, linked to a group known as Scattered Spider, exploited stolen passwords dating back to 2020 to access those companies' cloud data, ultimately stealing terabytes of sensitive information and extorting millions of dollars. This cascade of breaches, all traced back to one cloud platform's ecosystem, shows the ripple effects when a single weak link in a digital supply chain is exploited. Cybersecurity news. Early speculation in the aftermath of the Snowflake incident swirled that the cloud provider itself might have been breached, a prospect that could have shaken confidence in the entire cloud industry. However, investigators revealed that the intruders snuck in via stolen passwords on certain customer accounts that lacked MFA, rather than hacking Snowflake's own systems. In other words, the devastating multi-company breach was rooted in basic identity lapses on users' side. The scenario underscored how a single weak login can inadvertently provide an entry point into many organizations at once in a shared cloud environment. Zage. For businesses worldwide, the Snowflake multi-tenant hack was a startling lesson on the interdependencies of modern IT. Companies that entrusted data to a third-party platform were blindsided by a breach beyond their direct control, highlighting that a single weak spot can cause a multi-organization incident. In the aftermath, security teams everywhere are doubling down on fundamentals like strong authentication, network segmentation, and zero-trust principles. Regulators have taken note as well. Some are weighing stricter cybersecurity rules for cloud providers and their clients to ensure proper identity hygiene and data protection. All told, the Snowflake incident has spurred a new seriousness around supply chain security, a recognition that in a deeply interconnected digital ecosystem, everyone must do their part to keep the whole system safe. Subtopic: Near miss demonstrates supply chain dangers. This year also saw narrowly averted software supply chain catastrophes. One striking case was CV 2026-3094, a malicious backdoor discovered embedded in the widely used XE-utils compression library, a vulnerability caught just in time to prevent a potential global compromise. If the tampered code had shipped out in a popular Linux distribution, thousands of organizations could have been breached as a result. The near miss hammered home the need for rigorous verification of code from even trusted suppliers. It was a jarring reminder that a single contaminated update in a library can ripple across the globe. Many companies are now devoting more resources to auditing third-party components and implementing zero-trust practices all through their supply chains, hoping to catch the next hidden threat early. As the XE-utils case shows, vigilant oversight and swift intervention can stop a disaster before it starts, transforming a potential weakness into a defensive strength. Cybersecurity news. 7. Historic lawsuit puts AI under legal scrutiny. A landmark legal battle is brewing over the harms of artificial intelligence. For the first time, a U.S. state has taken an AI company to court over allegations that its technology caused widespread damage. Florida's Attorney General filed a suit against OpenAI, maker of ChatGPT, and its CEO Sam Altman, claiming the popular chatbot was released negligently and contributed to real-world harms. The suit alleges that OpenAI prioritized growth over safety, ignoring internal warnings and deploying an AI model that lacked adequate guardrails. It cites incidents, including one in which ChatGPT allegedly provided guidance that led to violent behavior by a user, to argue that the company failed to protect the public. The complaint seeks to hold OpenAI accountable for not doing enough to mitigate foreseeable risks and for effectively unleashing a dangerous product on society. Founder. The case is being closely watched by regulators and tech companies alike, as it may set legal precedents for how AI providers can be held responsible for misuse of their systems. Florida's bold action has sparked speculation that other states might follow suit, and even U.S. federal lawmakers are discussing new AI regulations. OpenAI has denied the allegations and maintains it includes extensive safety measures in its products, but that hasn't quieted calls for stronger oversight of powerful AI tools. For many, the Florida lawsuit is less about stifling innovation and more about ensuring accountability, a sign that democracies want AI to advance responsibly with effective checks and balances. Founder. For the emerging AI industry, this development highlights the expectation that powerful technologies must be accompanied by strong safeguards to maintain public trust. Leading AI companies have begun establishing ethics and safety teams, sharing progress on risk mitigation, and supporting smart regulations, recognizing that a people-centric approach is essential if society is to fully harness AI's benefits. The conflict between unrestricted innovation and public safety is coming to a head, and balancing these priorities is widely seen as the key challenge of this new AI era. The outcome of the Florida case remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the path to a beneficial AI-powered future must align technological progress with human values. Subtopic: Europe leads with historic AI regulations. Meanwhile, the European Union is setting a global benchmark for AI governance through its landmark Artificial Intelligence Act. Adopted in 2024, the EU's Comprehensive AI Act is being phased in through 2026, with rigorous requirements for testing, transparency, and human oversight of high-risk AI applications. The law takes a risk-based approach to regulation, categorizing AI systems by potential harm and imposing strict obligations on those that could significantly impact public safety or rights. The EU AI Act also threatens steep penalties for violations, up to €35 million or 7% of global revenue, sending a clear message that companies must take AI safety seriously or face heavy consequences. Many expect the EU's proactive stance to influence AI policy worldwide, as policymakers aim to ensure beneficial innovation without sacrificing fundamental rights and public trust. White Case 8. AI tools become cybercriminals' new playground. One of the most alarming security incidents this week came from an unexpected vector: a customer support chatbot. Hackers reportedly manipulated Meta's AI-powered support system to hijack multiple high-profile Instagram accounts, demonstrating that even AI-driven help desks could be turned into weapons by savvy attackers. The perpetrators tricked Meta's support AI into granting them unauthorized access to user accounts, bypassing normal verification by exploiting a flaw in the automated customer service process. This novel form of social engineering gave criminals control over victims' social media accounts without needing to crack any password at all. The incident exposed a new class of security risk, one arising when organizations rely on AI systems for sensitive tasks, and underlined the need for companies to vigilantly safeguard these smart services from clever abuse. Founder. As AI itself grows more capable, threat actors are increasingly leveraging it to supercharge their attacks. In September 2025, cybersecurity researchers documented what appears to be the first large-scale cyber attack carried out with minimal human involvement, an autonomous AI that infiltrated global targets largely on its own. Meanwhile, sophisticated self-refining malware is beginning to emerge, using machine learning to evolve and evade detection in real time. These developments raise the stakes for defenders, who must now anticipate threats that mutate and multiply at machine speed. Facing machine-accelerated intrusions marks a fundamental shift for cybersecurity teams, a battle in which algorithms can be as creative and tireless as the humans behind them. Forbes. The silver lining is that AI can also be harnessed as a defensive shield. More than $28 billion has been invested into new AI-driven security tools that automatically detect and respond to threats at machine speed. Leading cybersecurity firms are embedding generative AI into their platforms to assist human analysts. For instance, CrowdStrike's new Charlotte AI Copilot automatically filters threats and could save each analyst 40 hours of work per week by handling routine tasks. Governments are also issuing AI governance guidelines and pushing for built-in safeguards as preventative measures. The message is that, even as attackers gain new tools, defenders can innovate too, using the same advances in artificial intelligence to better protect people and organizations. Forbes. Techie. Subtopic: Constant vigilance against AI misuse. OpenAI, for example, recently reported foiling more than 20 attempts by state-sponsored hackers from countries like Russia, China, and Iran to misuse its ChatGPT system for malicious ends. These efforts ranged from creating tailored phishing messages to experimenting with AI-generated malware. Such revelations are a reminder that malicious actors are actively probing commercial AI services for weaknesses. Industry leaders and policymakers are responding with calls to harden these systems against abuse, vet user behavior more rigorously, and implement strong safeguards, a new front in the ongoing cat-and-mouse game of cybersecurity. By learning from and blocking these attempts, AI companies are working to make their platforms more resistant to manipulation, ensuring that artificial intelligence becomes an asset for safety rather than a tool for harm. Cybersecurity news. 9. Arrests and global crackdowns deter cybercriminals. Law enforcement worldwide is striking back against cybercriminals with unprecedented reach. In a major win for international cooperation, a Chinese man accused of hacking thousands of organizations was extradited from Europe to face charges in a U.S. court, a first-of-its-kind event in cyber warfare history. The suspect, 34-year-old Su Zhiwei, is alleged to have been a contractor for China's Ministry of State Security and took part in the infamous Hafnium hacking campaign that compromised more than 12,000 computers via Microsoft Exchange vulnerabilities. U.S. officials say Su stole COVID-19 vaccine research and other vital data from American universities and companies during 2020 and 2021, and his extradition, coordinated with Italy, underscores a new, no safe haven approach to state-sponsored hackers. This demonstrates the FBI's reach extends well beyond U.S. borders, noted a top FBI official after the arrest, a direct warning that others who target critical systems face the same risk. Justice. Justice. +1. This is far from an isolated case. In the past year, authorities across North America and Europe have publicly announced arrests and indictments in several major cybercrime cases. Members of Shiny Hunters, a prolific extortion group tied to numerous high-profile breaches, have been nabbed in joint operations spanning multiple countries. In the UK, police cracked down on Lapsus Dollar, arresting teenage members of the ring behind a string of audacious corporate hacks in 2022. Each success reinforces a new ethos of no impunity for cybercriminals. Even those hiding behind borders and anonymity, law enforcement is showing it can reach into the darkest corners of the internet and bring criminals out into the light. Bleeping computer. As these efforts intensify, the world is moving closer to a unified front against cybercrime. Late last year, representatives from 65 nations gathered at the United Nations to sign the world's first treaty dedicated to fighting cybercrime, a landmark step toward a safer digital age. The UN Cybercrime Convention, negotiated over 5 years, establishes a universal framework for investigating and prosecuting offenses ranging from ransomware attacks and financial fraud to the non-consensual sharing of sensitive data. At the signing ceremony in Hanoi, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres hailed the pact as a victory for multilateral cooperation and declared that, in cyberspace, nobody is safe until everybody is safe. The treaty, which enters into force once ratified by 40 nations, promises to streamline information sharing and enforcement across borders, particularly aiding countries with limited resources. While challenges remain, this strong international stance signals a vow that no country will be left to defend itself alone in the digital age, a crucial step as advanced threats continue to evolve. +1.